Thanks for watching D2 Wrenchworks and DIY, guys. Today's video, we are building a floating TV shelf, and I'm going to teach you how to turn all of this into this. We have hidden storage here for whatever you want to put, and this one is going to be where your power, charging, whatever you want to do here. For a clean installation, all cables are hidden through the wall and through cable runners. First things first, tool list. You want to know what to have for a project like this. For materials, I'm using 1x12. These are just normal boards. They're not very expensive. It's just what I could find at Lowe's that was straight. And they got a nice color to them. I got 4 different ones. I have a separate project I'm going to do with this as well. So I should only really need 2 boards. These are each 8 feet long. That's what you're going to need as far as materials for your wood. Now, I do want to hide. You can see I have a lot of inputs coming into my TV here on all these cables and mess. I do want to hide these. So first thing you will need to do that, we need a cable management system. That is what this is here. You need a cable hiding system. And these are like little portholes that go in your drywall. Very cool. It even comes with a hole saw for you to put these in. And these are both about $20 a piece. They're very, very affordable. And you see there's a hole saw to install these. Pretty cool. You would install one down low and one right behind the TV. What I think I'm going to do is put one in a hidden area of one of my, I'm going to have drawers on this shelf, so, or cabinets, I guess you would call them. I will have links to all this stuff in my description as well. Of course, you're going to need some stain. I have a coffee table over here I built that's actually kind of similar to this, so it's going to match it really well. This is matching stain for that. I prefer, this is red oak, so it's kind of got like a cherry kind of color to it. You will need a way to assemble it. One of my best, most recent investments, only $100 for the extended battery. These are about $50. You get this separate. There we go. Very nice, big battery. This is a XC 3.0. This does me just great. And a little Milwaukee impact driver. We're going to do pocket screw joinery, so let's move on to that. You will need, because this is 1 inch, but it actually comes out to 3/4 inch material, so you're going to have 3/4 inch and 3/4 inch for your joinery corners. You do need, people use 1.5, thinking that that's what you need to do. If you've never used the Craig screws, you should check into it. On the back, they'll have, right here, it's hard to see, but they'll have whatever material thickness and a recommendation for the screw you should use. I'm telling you right now, it already is 1 1/4. That's what you need. I have a whole box of these. These are in bulk. I like to get them a lot cheaper that way. 250 right here. That will build me more than plenty of these. And I like doing the pocket hole stuff. I built our coffee table here on that as well. So very great for beginners, super easy to use, you can't complain. Now I mentioned we're going to do a pocket hole jig. I used to use a Craig jig to make the pocket hole drill bits and all of that, or drill holes and all of that. I wasn't really happy with the plastic on it. Last time I built the gate project that you guys may have seen or will see soon, I used pocket holes on that, and it was not very good. Like putting it into the, you have to clamp it with these pliers, and it's a huge pain, and the plastic's not on well, and the plastic broke right away, and so I had to like electrical tape it. It's a huge pain. So for $40, I thought that was a little expensive to begin with, and I bought it a few years ago, and it only made me through one project, my coffee table. I decided to go way bigger. This is a super nice jig to make our pocket holes, and you can see it's adjustable and all of this. You have this nice lever system, has a dust collector even if you got a nice little shop vac dust collection system. That's a huge bonus. Also, you got the square bit drivers because the screws are going to go way into the wood. It literally has everything that you could ask for. All these other little bits and bobs to set it up as well. And the cool thing is you can actually take this off right here if you undo the sides. And you can just use it as a Craig jig, just clamping it down. And there you would have your 2 holes right there. So this is a pretty cool unit. Definitely check this out. One thing you will need too, you want a way to power all of this, especially because we're going to be trying to run all of the power wires behind the wall as I mentioned. So we're going to have them join up inside of one of the cabinets. Of course, you will need a circular saw. This is a brand new skill saw I just picked up. If you're a lefty, they actually make a sidewinder version for us lefties. You can see it kind of looks pretty neat here. You're actually cutting on this side versus on the other side. A lot easier for me to see the mark as well while I'm cutting. Great buy though, about $100. Since we are doing cabinets, as I said, drawers are a little more costly with added expensive wood and tracks and all this stuff, so this is a much cheaper and easier way, especially if you're a beginning woodworker like me. These are concealed hinges, and these are actually what your cabinets use, like if you have like cups up top above your counters or something, you would open it, and this would be right here where it opens and closes. These are actually really tight right now. There we go. There you go. You can see it opens and closes. These got 90-degree angle, or 95, I believe. So I'm going to have them open like this. And these will work excellent. These are super strong. I actually have these on my coffee table. I only have 2 of them on there. So 2 of these on 20-inch drawers. My coffee table's like probably 5 foot wide or something like that. So these are pretty strong. To mount them, you do need a Craig jig. This is actually a good jig, unlike the plier one where you do the pocket hole. I'm not a big fan of that. Not for the cost anyways. But this one is awesome. And it's very easy to use, but you do have the router bit. I'll just add a picture here. And there is a blue jig piece that you square off on the end, and you make sure it's all 90 degrees and pretty. And lastly but not leastly, I got a really nice Craftsman tape measure here to get all our precise measurements done. And that's our tool list. Let's get to work. Okay, so first thing we want to do is carefully plan our cuts here. You want to go with the grain of the wood, meaning our end piece is going to be the corresponding piece of the front cabinet. They're going to be just one cut away from being the same piece, and it gives it a much laminar looking flow and a high quality looking build. So the order would be end piece, cabinet, cabinet, end piece, and that is what we're cutting now. Definitely do not forget to label your pieces as you're cutting them. As I said, we want to keep our laminar flow in one direction. So you got to keep organized. And next we're going to cut the top and bottom pieces, and from the scrap left over there we're going to cut the inside supports, which aren't going to be seen, so you could use the worst pieces and strategically set up for it. You can see this piece has a huge knot on the inside of it. You have to try to be careful though when you're doing the pocket holes. They do not really like knots at all. They will split them. They're pretty strong, so be wary of that. Make sure you take the time to dry fit everything up before you move along to assembly and drilling. This is one of the most important parts. It gives you a chance to change anything around that you might want to do. Just because you're going with the wood grain flow doesn't mean you can't flip the boards inverse if you didn't like cupping or knots or whatever you might run across. As we move into assembly, we're going to start using our pocket hole jig. Each cabinet piece is going to take 8 pocket holes per piece, so you got a lot of drilling to do here. The best thing to do is to just take your speed square and make markings. You could go 2 to 4 inches apart for the pocket hole screws. This is not quite a necessity, but it will save you time. It's hard to get in the nooks and crannies when it's all assembled. I did forget to mention, while I'm gluing up everything earlier in assembly, use Titebond 3. This is a far superior glue, a little on the expensive side, but it lasts you forever. Project Farm does an amazing video on how strong it is. You gotta use it. Now that we're done framing out the shelf, all the hard work is done, and we can move on to assembling the top. Here I have a roundover router bit. If you choose to make it a little fancy like I want to, you will need this. And you also need a router. This is a really, really nice trim router. These are actually on sale right now. I think they're like 89 bucks. You can't beat it. And I also got a little gate for it, a fence, so I can keep it nice and straight. For other projects I might want to do, we'll see. But yeah, it's a really nice 1 horsepower unit by Bosch.
Now we're all assembled and looking good. The first thing you want to do here, and the most important part to make it live up to its name, is make this floating. We have to have a way to fix this to the wall, and so we are going to use some scrap wood from our previous cuts, and this is just going to make some inside bracketry, and we're going to use pocket holes to attach them from the outside. These two pieces come into 18.5 inches long and just under 6 inches wide based off of my scrap. You're going to want to put 2 pocket holes on your left side and your right side. For my length, I went a little overkill on my pocket screws. I was trying to pull in some board cupping on the top, but 3 to 4 will work plenty. Installing the brackets are a quick and painless procedure you can see here. Once all edges are covered in glue, you want to secure them with 3 clamps, maybe even 2, and then screw it all together. If you're like me and the boards aren't that straight you got from Lowe's, don't be scared to use 4. The more clamps the merrier. Now it's time to drill holes for the hinges. You always want to make sure that your cabinet gets the correct jig hole for the concealed hinge. This makes installation much easier, so we're going to make sure and do that now. You may notice the wood is damp here because we have wiped it down. This raises the grain for its final sand. You're going to use whatever your stain calls for. Mine is 120 grit, then 180 grit. Use a hard block sander, do this by hand, go with the grain, and it will have the stain soak in at its best. If you're new to staining, it's highly recommended to go ahead and use a pre-stain primer before you actually apply the stain. I went ahead and did it anyways without it. I just made sure I was really good in my hand sanding and cleaning up thereafter. When you apply the stain, you can see you don't need anything complicated. I'm just using old t-shirts. You want to take your time here, get into all the nooks and crannies. If you think you're running out of time, just go ahead and wipe the stain back off. You could always go back again and just do the whole thing over one more time. Honestly, it came out perfect for me. I only did it 1 layer and I just let it sit for a little bit. Sanding really helped it soak in. And that's pretty much it. There's only so much staining footage I could show you, so let's get to the final product. And here's the final look. We are super pleased with how it came out. It has cleaned up the area of our living room so much, and it was a really fun project to do. I hope you guys enjoy. Please do not forget to subscribe, and you can support us on Patreon if you'd like. Thanks. Bye.